In today's video, I'm going to walk you through step-by-step how to upload a book to Amazon KDP. Now guys, in order to make this video as helpful as possible, I'll explain things here on camera, but I'm going to switch you over to my own computer and I'll walk you through all of this on screen recording. What's going to make this video unique is I'm going to give you a course level deep dive on this process. I'm going to share all the things that I've learned from trial and error that you can't just find online, and all this information is going to be totally for free in this video, so you don't have to pay for it in a course. Guys, lastly, before we get into this video, I do want to just say that this will go over both the upload process for paperback books and for ebooks. They'll both be covered in the same tutorial. All right, guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so switching over to the computer, where we need to start here is on Amazon KDP's homepage. So this is what it looks like, but it's definitely worth saying one note here. When you go over to Google and you search for Amazon KDP, this is the specific result that you were looking for. It says kdp.amazon. The reason I say this is because oftentimes people are running sponsored ads here to make their website look like Amazon, but you're not actually clicking on Amazon when you click on that link. So just make sure that this is what your result looks like. And when you click on that, it brings you to this page. This is the actual homepage for Amazon KDP. So once you do get here, you're going to click one of two buttons, either join KDP or sign in. If it is your very first time doing KDP, you're going to click on join KDP. It'll take you a couple minutes to fill out kind of their account setup form. And the most important things here is they're just figuring out who you are, setting a username and password, and how to pay you your profits every month. Now, once you've done that one time, you'll just go to sign in every time, and that will bring you into your dashboard. So once you do get signed in, this is what your Amazon KDP dashboard is going to look like. And I will make one point to say here, if you are just setting up a brand new KDP account and you kind of skipped over how they're going to pay you, just make sure that before you publish your first book, you go to your account and you make sure that all of this information is complete. The reason for this is that they will automatically pay you every month. Once you create your book and it starts selling, all those profits, they're just going to pay out to you. However, if you haven't completed your account where they're going to pay that profit to, you are not going to receive your payments. But just make sure you have that filled out, and then we are going to be looking for this big yellow button here. This is the create button. So once you click on that, it's going to give you a couple options of different types of books to create. What I recommend for the vast majority of KDP sellers is to start with a paperback book. And then what you're going to see towards the end of this tutorial is that all the information you fill out for a paperback book, you can essentially copy paste that to create your Kindle ebook afterwards. They have an option, and I'll show you how to do it, where you can take all the information that you've entered and have that pre-entered to create your ebook. It just makes the process a lot faster. Now, real quickly, I just want to show you guys what a KDP paperback book looks like. So this is an actual book from KDP. It has a glossy finish, front cover, back cover, all of the pages inside. And again, a paperback book like this is the format that I would recommend for the vast majority of you guys. So let's go ahead and click on create paperback, the yellow button right here. And this is going to bring you into the actual upload process. So I will go through this step by step with you. I'll answer all of these boxes alongside with you, and I'll show you with a real example so you can follow along and do the same things for your books. Okay, so before we get into filling this out, I do want to just show you the real example we're going to use for this tutorial. This is a word search book. This is the front cover and the back cover. And this is the book that we are going to be referencing back and forth as we're filling out this upload process. Okay, so coming back to the upload process here, the very first question is going to be language. I recommend leaving this on English. What I have found is the largest buyer pool is in the English speaking language. Now, if your book is in a specific language, then go ahead and change the language to what your book is about. But for the vast majority of you guys, I would leave this on English. Now, this brings us into the first very important part. So this is the book title and the book subtitle. Now, a lot of people don't realize, but these need to be treated differently, and Amazon is looking for a very specific format, especially for your book's title. So for the book's title, what Amazon is specifically looking for is the exact words that are written on your book's cover. This is something that most people don't talk about or show you how to do, but it also leads to one of the most common reasons why books are rejected from Amazon KDP. So let me show you how to do this properly. So pulling up our example book, the specific words that are on our cover are lucky, hunting, word search, 50 plus puzzles. So I'm going to type this in exactly how it is as our book title, and then I'll show you one extra thing. So when the Amazon reviewers are being very strict, this is exactly what they're looking for your book title. We can't really deviate from this very much. In some cases we can, and they will allow it if it makes sense, but these are the guidelines of what they are looking for. Now, pulling this cover back up one more time, what I wanted to show you here is kind of a caveat. So if you have main text as your title, then you have smaller text, something like 50 plus puzzles, as your intended subtitle, which is kind of my purpose here. It's not part of the main title. Then in some cases, you can take that subtitle out of your main title. You can delete that so that it's not so jumbled and it looks cleaner in your book title. This would be the specific title that I would be going for this book, and I would be moving that 50 plus puzzles down into the subtitle. Now, speaking of the subtitle, this is actually a huge opportunity for us to get our book to rank better on Amazon. Now, what I mean by rank better is when someone searches for what our book is about, getting our book to just naturally show up towards the top of the first page of the search results. Now, with that being said, something to clarify here is that in the subtitle, Amazon is far less strict about what has to be in that subtitle. It doesn't have to be specific words that are on the cover. They only really have two main rules here. The first thing is that they don't want you to keyword stuff your subtitle. Now, what keyword stuffing means is you're just putting in hunting word search a bunch of times in your subtitle, trying to get it to just show up the best for hunting word search. So they don't want you to repeat keywords a lot of times or keyword stuffing. And secondly, you have to be careful when using a couple specific words. The most common ones are free, gift, and bestseller or best selling. Now, the reason for this is that some people don't use these ethically. They try to make their book look like it's a bestseller on Amazon when it's really not. So just know that if you're using these words in your subtitle, you have to be very careful how you're using them. So with that being said, now let's actually fill out our subtitle. And I can't stress how important the title and subtitle is. So I really want to make sure that you guys know how to do this best. So we've already got 50 plus puzzles in here. Like I said, we can or cannot use that. It's up to us in our subtitle. It's not required like the book title. But what I recommend doing to get ideas of what to put in your subtitle is to go over to Amazon directly and search for the main way that people would be finding your book. So a hunting word search book is pretty much the most general or broad way that you can find the book that I'm creating here, which is a lucky hunting word search book. And then this is something that I've learned from trial and error. What you want to do is scroll down here, and anytime you see sponsored, that means that someone's paying to be there, so they're not actually organically ranking there. Skip over the sponsored ones and scroll to the ones that are ranking organically the best for that search term. Now, when I say organically, I just mean that they're not paying for ads. They're actually Amazon saying, I think this is the best listing. We should show this first because we think buyers are going to buy it when they search for this search term. So these are the listings that are ranking best organically. This is the first one, the second one, the third one. Let's look at these first couple here. And what we want to do is look at their subtitles and see what specific phrases, keywords, formatting they are using, and then combine a few of them on the first page to create your own unique subtitle. We want to use a similar format as them. And most importantly, we want to use keywords that they are also using. Now, guys, when you are doing this, make sure that you are making your own custom unique subtitle and you're not just clicking on one of these and going in here, copying their entire subtitle and pasting that as your own. If you do that, there's a high chance that Amazon's just going to reject your book, tell you that it's too similar to someone else's, and you're going to have to redo it anyways. Now, what you can do, and let me just clarify here, this is the book's title, and then there's going to be a colon, and then this is going to be the book's subtitle. So this is the part we're looking at. What you can do is you can go in, you can pull different phrases or different parts of their subtitle and copy paste them into your own, and then edit it from there. So to give you an example here, let's take the beginning of this one, copy it, go back over to KDP. We are just going to paste it here, and then let's start to customize this. So we've got 50 plus puzzles. That was originally on our cover. And then we've got word searches. So let's just take out puzzles and switch that to 50 plus word searches with large print. Let's take out large print, 50 plus word searches about hunting, fishing, outdoors, and more. Okay, so that's the keywords from the first one, but we've just customized it to be our own. That's kind of the idea that we want to do here. And then a good trick that I can teach you is to press space and then shift, add a bar, space again, and now we can go get our next phrase or our next keyword after this. So let's go back over to Amazon. Let's go back to the search results and let's see what else we can pull from these other ones. This second one doesn't have very good keywords in it. This third one we might be able to pull some out of. So we've got 116 puzzles for hunter and fisherman. Okay, that might work. So let's just copy this. Let's go back over to KDP. Let's paste it. We've already said 50 plus, so I'm actually just going to take the number out and we're just going to do puzzles for hunter and fisherman. And then that's a good starting point. Let's go ahead and let's add one more here. And I actually like this as well. So gift for fishing and hunting lovers. Let's go ahead and copy that. Let's go back over here, let's paste it, and then always try to customize this to be your own. You really don't want to copy anyone else's things directly. So I'm actually going to combine both of these because there's not so much to edit here to custom to be our own. So I'm going to do gift, let's just copy that, and we'll do gift instead of puzzles. So gift for hunter and fisherman, and then we'll do a different last one here. So let's go back and let's find one more. Now you can go back and you can keep scrolling through all of these to get more out of the rest of the ones on the first page, just to get some good ideas. If you are running short on different ideas, something that you can do that is a really good practice is to put the size and the amount of pages that are in your book. So for instance, this says 8.5 by 11 inches, 148 pages. Let's go ahead and just copy that. And let's put that in hours. Now this book is actually going to be 6 by 9 inches and has 110 pages. Now, again, just something that I've learned from trial and error here. You want to put this gift for hunter and fisherman, or gift for whoever that niche is about, as the last thing in your book subtitle. So I'm just going to select this. Let's copy it. And I'm going to take that out, and I'm just going to put that over here. I'm really just reorganizing this. So it says what the book is about, what the book is. Let's add in that bar, and then gift for hunter and fisherman. So who that book is for. So guys, what we've just done with our subtitle is taken a totally optional box, and we've told Amazon specifically what our book is about. So 50+ word searches about hunting, fishing, outdoors, and more. That's what our book is about, or really what we want to show up for on Amazon, what the book is specifically, so the size and the pages, and then who that book is for. It's a great gift for hunters and fishermen. Guys, I really hope that you take this process of creating your subtitle and use it for your own, because this is one of the best ways to organically show up on Amazon search results. And this way you can get sales from people just searching on Amazon's platform instead of having to rely on paying ads to get people to see your books. Now, one last thing I do want to show you here is if you do go back over to Amazon, go all the way up to the first book. This is the first one right here that is ranking organically, not paying for ads. As I was doing this, I actually recognized the book subtitle here. This is the subtitle that I taught you guys. It's a specific format in a previous tutorial on this channel. And in that tutorial, I was showing you how to create these word search books from start to finish. So how to actually create them, how to create the covers, how to upload them, price them, and everything. And this was a student who watched that video and created a book themselves, and it's ranking #1 organically on Amazon. This is just kind of proof and credibility as to what I am sharing with you guys actually works, and seeing this in action in real time on Amazon is awesome. Now, speaking of that video, for those of you who do want to watch that tutorial, I'll put a link to it down in the description below. That is a full-fledged tutorial, pretty much another course level video, but it takes you through how to actually find these niches for these word search books, how to create the books themselves, the covers, how to upload them, pricing, all of that. But I just had to say something as I saw this as we were going through this. But anyways, let's get back to what we were doing here with the subtitle. Okay, so getting back to the subtitle here, the book title, the book subtitle are both complete. We've done everything we need to do here. Now we can move on to the series below it. So the series is actually totally optional. I don't use it for pretty much any of my KDP books, so I don't think you're going to have to use that. The edition number, you're not going to have to use that either. The author name, however, is going to be very important, and it is required. So for your author name, you have your first name and your last name. If you just want to use your first name and last name, you absolutely can. However, if you do want to kind of be anonymous in this business and you don't want people to be searching your first and last name and all of these books that you've created come up in the search results, then you can use a pen name. Now, if you haven't heard of a pen name before, essentially what a pen name is it's just a made up fake name that you can use to create these books. There are tons of well-known authors out there, and you really just know them by their pen name. You don't even actually know their real name. And that's the idea here. So Amazon allows us to just come up with a fake name and use that first and last name, however you want to format it. And this is something that we don't have to register the pen name. We don't have to create a business about it. There's nothing formal to be done here. We just have to make sure that nobody on Amazon is already using that name or a very similar name to it, and make sure that it's not protected or owned by a company. Think of big well-known names that you already know, and this isn't just author names. It could be celebrities' names, it could be athletes, it could be movie names, it could be companies or brand names. We are not able to use any of those to try to make a profit from ourselves, so just make sure that when you are choosing your pen name here, it's something that's not associated with someone else already. Now, something that I teach in my tutorials, if you haven't come up with a pen name yet and you just want to get started with something, use your initials like GG, which would be Greg Gottfried, and then what that niche of that book is. So this comes into play when you're creating many different low or medium content books like word searches or puzzle books or activity books or template books. You can just type in generally what that niche is. So we'll do puzzle books, and that will be our pen name for this book. Now, something really important to know about your author name is that once it has been submitted and approved and your book is live on Amazon, you can't change your author name in the future. However, that is okay, because when you're selecting an author name for KDP, you can use the same author name for every book that you publish, or if you're publishing into multiple different niches, you can use a different author name on every book. It's totally up to you. Now, moving on from here is the contributors. This is if someone else has helped you create that book and you want to give them recognition for them to show up as an author as well. You can add them here, and you can also edit this after the book has been published. So unlike the author name, you can add and remove contributors later on once the book is live. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now we're moving on to the description. This is another really important part to help us rank organically on Amazon, so we don't have to rely on paid ads. Now, with the description, I don't actually write mine on Amazon itself. I go over to ChatGPT and I'll walk you through how to do this. It's actually 2 parts, but if you know how to do it, it becomes very easy. So ChatGPT, for those of you who don't know, is a free artificial intelligence tool. I'll put a link to it down in the description below. As a side note, anything that we talk about throughout this video, I'll try to put links directly to it in the description, so you can just go and click on it. You don't have to go to Google and try to find all these things. But with ChatGPT, to create this description, the 2 parts are, first you say, what are the benefits of a, and then what kind of book you are creating. So this is a lucky hunting word search book, ? And then just press enter or click on search here. And then ChatGPT is going to use AI to just write out what are all of the benefits of having a book like this. Now, what you're going to find out here is that the benefits will help sell people on your book more than the features of your book. The features are just what the book is, how many pages, how many puzzles, what the words are about. The benefits are what would someone actually get out of buying that book or owning that book. Those are the things that are going to get people to actually convert and buy your book. So once we've got all these written out, it wrote 6 of them for us. Now we say use these benefits to write a compelling, is a very important word, Amazon product description about a lucky hunting word search book that is 6 by 9 inches size and 110 pages. Now you can fill out whatever your size and page count is specifically for your book, but by giving it this, it's going to just give us a much more accurate description that we're not going to have to edit as much. So then just click on enter. And this is going to go to town just writing this description for us. So guys, as this is writing this, the reason that I use ChatGPT for this is, first and foremost, it's going to save you a ton of time. But secondly, we told it that it is a hunting related word search book. So it's going to use words related to hunting or hunting word search book as keywords throughout this entire description. So this is going to help by telling Amazon what we want to show up for, all of the related keywords. So guys, just like that, it wrote the entire description for us. This is what we were looking for. Let's just select and copy all of this. Right click and copy. Let's go back over to KDP. I'm just going to right click right where this cursor is, and I'm just going to paste it. So guys, that is our description right here, but there is one more important step. It is quick, but just go through here and read through this one time to make sure that all this information is accurate. So let's just do a quick read through here. Okay, there we go. I actually didn't have to change anything on this. This is a good result here. And for those of you who do write this out on ChatGPT, if you do want it to write it again or do something different, you can just do another one. Or you can say, try again. Just click on enter. And it's just going to write you a totally different one again. So you can customize this as much as you want. You just have to tell it what you are looking for. So guys, coming back to KDP, this description is now complete. From here, we can scroll down to publishing rights. If you have created this book yourself, which I hope that you have, just click on I own the copyright and hold the necessary publishing rights. That's a very easy one. Scroll down to the next one, sexually explicit images or title. I really recommend not having any of these. There's just a much larger buyer pool of books that don't have this. So I think if you're trying to make money with KDP, then try to gear this towards not having any. But if you're creating a type of book that is in this genre, then you are going to have to click on yes. Now below that is reading age. For the vast majority of you guys out there creating books, I don't recommend selecting anything here. It's optional, just leave it as is. However, if you're creating something like an activity book for 7th graders or 7-year-olds, you can actually tell Amazon what age you are trying to target. And that way it helps to tell Amazon who to show that book to. You're really just giving Amazon as much information about your book as possible. Okay, so below that is primary marketplace. Just leave that on Amazon.com. Again, if you are creating your book in a specific language, I would select the Amazon marketplace that speaks that language. But again, for the vast majority of you guys, just leave that on Amazon.com. Now below that is categories, another important one here. Click on choose categories, and this is going to allow us to select 3 categories to tell Amazon what our book is about. So depending on what niche your book is, you are going to be selecting different categories, but I'll show you how this works. So first click on select one, and then go into whatever the overall category is for this book. For a word search book, it is going to be humor and entertainment, and then go into a subcategory here. These are going to be puzzles and games, and then over on the right side, we're allowed to choose up to 3 categories. So first we are going to do word search, and then come back over to the left side, add another category. Again, we're just going to follow the same process here. So we'll go to humor and entertainment, select one, puzzles and games, and you can do puzzles this time. And guys, you can pick any 3 that you want here. Just make sure that they are all relevant to your book. Now, if you do see another category within the same one here and you want to use that as your third, you can just go ahead and click on it as well. It's going to add it as a third category. So guys, once you've got 3 of these selected, just click on Save Categories. That's going to save it for you. And then you've got 2 little boxes right here. So the first box is low content book. If you're not familiar with what a low content book is, let me just take you to Amazon's categorization of this. Low content books are a specific type of book, but Amazon also allows you to sell medium and high content books. You really have to understand this in order to understand KDP overall. So specifically, low content books means that these books are notebooks, they're planners, they're diaries, journals, blank music sheets. These are all primarily template-based books. So they're all basically lined pages, or they have specific templates. They're a logbook, but they're not something that you or me as a seller has custom created to put into that book. Slightly confusing here, but you can custom create templates or layouts to put into these low content books, something like a logbook specifically for tracking your budget habits, something that you custom created, but it's still going to fall into a low content book. Now, beyond low content is medium content and high content. Medium content is actually where word search books fall into. I think they even say that over here. Yes, this is going to fall into puzzle books. This is because we are custom creating these word search puzzles and putting them into these books, so no 2 of these books are going to be alike. Now, beyond medium content books is high content books. These are going to be the normal books that are all written with text. These are the types of books that you see at bookstores. Now, as a quick kind of golden nugget for you guys, in my experience of selling KDP books all the way since 2018, my best sellers have been in low and medium content books. These are template books, logbooks, notebooks for specific niches, or they are word search books for specific niches, both low and medium content, but I have not had as much success selling high content books. So if you are getting into this business of KDP to try to make money on the side or passive income, whatever it is, I really recommend focusing on low and medium content books. They just sell themselves way better. So with that being said, depending on what kind of book you are creating, just see if it kind of fits generally into low content or medium or high content, and just know that this is not an all-encompassing list. You may have created something else that's not listed here, but you can kind of get the idea that it falls into low content. So coming back over to KDP, we are creating a word search book, which falls into kind of the puzzle books of medium content. So we are not going to select low content book. We'll leave that unchecked. Now, for those of you wondering what happens if you check low content book, how does that change your KDP listing? The only thing it is going to change here is it will not give you an ISBN number, which we'll talk about in a second, and it doesn't allow you to do expanded distribution. Both of these I will cover in a few minutes here as we get to them, but it's not going to limit your sales, so just know that. The next box here is a large print book. So if your book has 16-point fonts or larger throughout the entire book, that's a large print book. If not, like this one that I'm creating right now is 6x9 size, so it's a smaller book, then I am not going to check that. I'm not able to. The font is a little bit lower than 16. Again, this is just telling Amazon certain features about your book. So if someone's searching for specifically a large print version of a hunting word search book, then if we had this checked, Amazon would know that ours has that feature. Okay, so for this book specifically, we're not checking either of these. We are then coming down to keywords. Guys, the book title and the subtitle, the description, and then the keywords are where we are telling Amazon what we want to organically rank for on their platform. So again, this is a very important part. Now, in these keywords, again, Amazon is not as strict as creating your book title, but the idea here is we want to tell Amazon what we want to show up for when people are searching on Amazon. So there's 2 ways to do this. First, you can use your own creativity. We know this is a lucky hunting word search book. So what are different ways that people would be searching on Amazon to find that? That could be a hunting word search book. And as a small note here, you don't have to worry about capitalization. So I just capitalize this based on habit, but you can leave all of this lowercase and you don't have to add in any punctuation. The important thing here is you just want to make sure that you don't have any typos, because that's just going to hurt your potential rankings. Now we only get 7 of these. So that's our first one here. The next one, what else would someone be searching for? This might be an outdoor word search book. But then where this gets interesting is there are other ways that people are searching for and end up buying hunting word search books. The way to find those is to come over to Amazon and go all the way to the top. We typed in hunting word search book. Just click up here. This is going to show you the auto suggestions. This is what people who are similar to this searcher are also searching for. So fishing word search book, nature word search book. These are what Amazon thinks that this person may also be looking for. So we might want to enter fishing word search book and also nature word search book. So those are 2 good ones to use. But then below this, we've got more. So we've got hunting puzzle book. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, we've got 2 left that we can do here, so let's see what else. So we've kind of exhausted this list, so let's take out book at the end. This is even more general, so hunting word search. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got hunting word search books for adults. Okay, that's another good one. And we've got one more that we can do here. We've got deer hunting word search. If you can remember, on the front of our cover, we do have a deer here, so that might be a perfect fit. Let's use that. All right, so that's all 7 of them right here. They actually fill up very quickly once you start looking through the auto suggestions. And the reason that we look through those auto suggestions is Amazon even tells us in their guidelines behind the scenes of KDP that they want you to put in your keywords here what people are searching for on Amazon so that Amazon knows where to show us. So we're really just doing some heavy lifting for Amazon by giving them this information without them having to try to figure it out themselves. Okay, so that is totally done. Let's scroll down here. Publication date and release date are the same. Leave that as is. Release my book for sale now. Leave that as is. Now just click on save and continue, the yellow button here. Okay, so right up at the top here, we have get a free KDP ISBN. All you do is click on the yellow button, assign ISBN, click on assign ISBN, and this is going to give you a free ISBN number. So for those of you who are not familiar with an ISBN number, essentially what it is the number that goes above your barcode on the back of your book. This is a specific identification number for your book. Now, what you're going to notice here is that on a low content book where it's just lined pages inside, there is a barcode that Amazon gives us totally automatically, but it doesn't have an ISBN number above it. Whereas on a word search book, where there are word search puzzles, medium content book, Amazon is giving us that ISBN number above our barcode. Now, again, for low content books, we simply just don't need the ISBN number. But for medium content books like word searches, puzzle books, or high content books, getting that ISBN number is a great advantage to using KDP. Now, I will say typically when you're publishing books, you have to purchase your own ISBN numbers, and they're not cheap. However, if you're publishing on KDP, they will give you a free ISBN number for every book that you upload. It's not just the first one. So guys, that's the ISBN number, just like that. That's all you have to do. And then scroll down here. You've got what type of ink and paper are you using. I would typically just leave this on black and white interior with white paper. And then below that, we have our trim size. This is very important that the cover and the actual manuscript or the interior of your book matches exactly with the size that you're selecting for your trim size. So this is already set on 6x9. That's what our book is. But depending on what kind of book you are uploading, you want to make sure that you are selecting that size here. It has to match. And if it doesn't match, then it's not going to get accepted when you submit this book. Now below that is the bleed settings. The bleed is basically if the printers can print all the way to the edges of the book. For example, this is going to be bleed turned on. As you can see, these little icons go all the way to the edge of the book. However, if your book looks something like this, where it doesn't go all the way to the edges, it stays within the general printing area, then you don't have to have bleed selected. Now, the last question in this section is the paperback cover finish. You have both matte and glossy. This, again, I can show you a real example. This, as you can see, it reflects the light, is a glossy finish. And then this is a matte finish. It does not reflect the light, and it's a little bit softer to the touch. Both of these cost the same amount to print, so it's not going to change how much your book costs to make. And quite frankly, I go back and forth on which one I like better myself. So I think this is up to you, which one you want to choose. I don't think you're going to go wrong either way here, so this one's totally up to you. Okay, and then scrolling down here, this is where we get to upload the inside of our book and our book cover. So for your manuscript, if you do not have that already made, that full tutorial I was telling you about in the description, that will show you how to create your manuscript, but this is basically your interior file. So just click on upload manuscript and it'll allow you to select that file off of your computer. And then that will just upload, it will say saved, and then go down to book cover. Now we already have our book cover made, so we can actually click on upload a cover that you already have, and then click on upload your cover file. Again, this will take you to your computer and you can select that file. Now again, for the cover file, just like the interior, if you don't know how to make that, you don't have experience, that full tutorial will walk you through that part as well. So then the last thing for the book cover is this little box that says, yes, my cover has a barcode. We do not want to turn that on because we want Amazon to give us a barcode automatically. So as you will see in all of these books, Amazon puts that barcode on the bottom corner of the back cover. They do it totally automatically for us, and it gives us a barcode on all of our books. So we'll leave that unchecked, and then we'll come down here. Did you use AI to create your book? This is more or less a survey. It's not going to alter how your book shows up on the search results. If you do select yes, then you can fill out what parts of the book and how much AI you used for them, or you select no, and it just kind of skips over this box. Now from here, we just click on Launch Previewer. This will take a second to load up, and it's going to load all of the files that we've put in here and show what that is going to look like when it goes to Amazon's print facility. So with that being said, once the previewer loads up, we're just looking for typos and formatting issues here. So the dotted lines are where the printing is going to start to get cut off. Make sure that nothing is going over these edges or it will get cut off in printing. And in most cases, Amazon will already see that when they're reviewing it and send the book back to you saying that you need to change it. But you can go to the next page. You can see everything. Make sure it's all within the printing area. You can look at every page in your book. Now, if you watch that full tutorial and see how to make these yourself using the software to make it, it already formats everything within the printing area. So this is more of a redundant step. just for Amazon to safeguard themselves so that people who are uploading are required to see this with all of the printing areas laid out before they submit their book to Amazon. So once all this looks good to you, just go ahead and click on approve. And then this will bring you back up to the top of that page we were on. We are just going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we're just going to go to save and continue. Okay, so this is the last page for the upload process here. This is where we actually get to set our price and figure out how much profit we're going to make on every book. I will share a lot of insights with you on this section here. But first off, we have territories. Just leave that on all territories. It just gives you the most exposure, the most places that you can sell your book. And then primary marketplace is already going to be kind of cemented in here. We can't change that unless we go back and change it. But then it brings us into our pricing. So when it comes to your pricing, we're going to fill that out here. But what I recommend doing is whatever niche you are going into, go over to Amazon and look at the best sellers in that niche right now, or even the ones that are organically ranking the best, and see what they are pricing their books at. This is going to give you a really good idea of the price range that you should be in. And I'll talk about this a little bit more in a second. So looking at this category, we have about $10, about $8, $6, $8, somewhere between $5.99 and I would say $9.99. This goes hand in hand with my experience on KDP, where I found that these low and medium content books, anywhere from $5.99 to $7.99, have sold the best for me. Now, interestingly, the books that I priced at $7.99 have sold as well as the $5.99 books, but they just have an extra $2 of profit margin in there. So it looks like on this book, I can price up to $9.99, I would say here, but that would be the top end. So I'd probably be starting somewhere about $7.99, just because I know that that's sold right out the gate as well as the $5.99 books. So all of that pricing kind of holds true in this niche. For your specific niche, go check and see what the books are selling at, because you may have to change a little bit higher or a little bit lower depending on what people are used to paying in your niche. So with that being said, let's go ahead and type in $7.99. That's what we'll start pricing this book at. And then once you type that in, it is going to auto-populate this entire form for you. Now, in order for this to make sense, I'll pull up a calculator here, but essentially once we understand this first line here, the rest of this is all going to make sense. But we are pricing for the Amazon.com marketplace at $7.99. Of that $7.99, we are going to get 60% as our split. So we get times 0.6 is $4.79. That's how much is coming to us. However, we are also responsible to pay for the printing. But very importantly, this is actually coming out of the customer's payment when they ordered the book. So we, as the seller, are never going to have to pay for this printing. So that $2.32 gets deducted. Again, that's coming from the person who made the purchase. So we are then left with $2.47 as our total profit that comes to us, which is shown right here as our royalty. So $2.47 is how much profit we are going to get every time we make a book sale at this sale price. Now, the last thing in this row here is the expanded distribution. So as I was saying before, for low content books, the only difference is you don't get an ISBN number and you can't do expanded distribution. Well, that's where this comes into play. Since this word search book is a medium content book, yes, we are allowed to take part in the expanded distribution. Essentially what that is Amazon promoting your book on their partner websites outside of Amazon's marketplace. Now, we get a significantly smaller cut of the profit, but these are all just additional sales that we didn't have to do anything to get. So I would recommend just turning this on when you can. For low content books, remember, you're not going to be able to do that, but that's how easy that is to turn on. Now, with all of that being said, for the first line here, all of these lines below it are going to be different Amazon marketplaces. Now, on KDP, when you upload a book to one marketplace, you can actually upload it to all of these other Amazon marketplaces as well. Totally for free. It doesn't cost you anything to do, and people can purchase the books from these marketplaces. They will still be shipped out to them totally without us doing anything. Again, something from experience with KDP is it's going to round the sale price to the closest exact amount when it converts US dollars to that currency. What I would recommend doing for you is to round all of these up to 99. This kind of takes a second to do, but just do each one of these individually. And there have been a lot of studies in marketing and in business that say that a sale price ending in 99, 98, or 97 converts people to buy that product a lot more than a full rounded up number like $8.00 or a random number like $7.06. So just go through this and change all of these. All right, guys, and then once you've finished all of these, your pricing is totally set. This is just going to say once you submit your book, Amazon has 72 hours to review that book, make sure there's no typos, no formatting issues, make sure that they don't want any words changed in your title or subtitle. And then if they approve it, your book is going to be live on Amazon's marketplace, ready for people to make purchases. However, if they are not approving your book and they are rejecting your book, they're going to send you an email saying specifically what they want changed. Just rest assured, this is total normal process for Amazon KDP. There are small things. It kind of depends on who your reviewer is, of how strict they are on certain things. But if you followed along in this tutorial and you're doing it this way, most of your books are just going to get accepted the first try. Now, with that being said, there are a couple other important things that you really do need to know here. The request proof button is if you just want to order one of those books for yourself so you can get your hands on it, you can do it through the request proof, or you can just publish your paperback book. Once it gets approved on Amazon, you can just order it from the listing. So guys, for this book specifically, I'm just going to save this as a draft right now, but I do want to show you how to make an ebook out of this. So as I had said in the beginning of this video, once you've gone through the paperback and filled all of this out, creating the ebook is pretty much done for you. There's just a couple clicks to make that entire process happen. So once you've published your paperback or you saved it as a draft and you have it in your bookshelf here on your dashboard, all you have to do is click on the Create Kindle ebook button right here. And then you're going to see that we're starting by filling out the same information again, but all of this is already saved for us. So we can really just scroll through here. The categories you are going to have to set again because the categories for Kindle books are different. But once you've got those set, you can go through to the next page. And there's just two important things you need to know about an ebook compared to a paperback book. So the first thing here is that when you are uploading your manuscript, you have to upload a different type of file. So we uploaded a PDF file for our paperback book, but when you are creating an ebook, you actually upload a KPF file. Now, if you're not familiar with how to create a KPF file, all you have to do is go over here, go to see all supported file types, scroll down just a little bit here, then you can see Kindle package format, KPF. If you have never done this before, I just recommend going to You Can Create a KPF file using Kindle Create. This is Amazon's own software to help you convert a PDF file or a Word document, whatever type of file you have, into a KPF file that's ready to upload to Amazon. So you can download this for free on a PC or on a Mac. And one really good pointer that I'll give you here is that once you have Kindle Create opened, you're going to have different types of books that you can create. Just know that the first type of book here, if you click on continue, is only a Word document file. However, if you go back and you select on these other types of books, you can actually upload PDF files or JPEGs or PNGs. So just make sure that you are selecting the right type of book for the type of file that you are uploading. So once you've converted your book for an ebook, the process is pretty much the same for uploading the manuscript. Just click on that button, select the KPF file from your computer, and that will upload here. And then once you've got your manuscript uploaded, you have one box here that you can check that says add digital rights management to this. This is basically protecting your book as an ebook so others can't just give it away for free. So I recommend turning this on. It's just going to protect your ebook. And then scroll down here. Another important thing is that when you are creating a cover for an ebook, it's actually a little bit different than the cover that you use for a paperback book. However, the reason that I recommend starting with the paperback book first, like we've done in this tutorial, and then creating your ebook afterwards is because you can create the ebook cover from the paperback cover that we have already created. You can't do it vice versa. So the way to do this is click on upload a cover that you already have, and then you're going to have this yellow button here. Don't click it yet. First, we need to open up our cover from our paperback book. So this is our cover right here. This is actually just on my computer. I've just opened it up on my Mac. What we need to do is take this PDF file and save it as a JPEG file. So I'm just going to go up on my computer and click on File, and I'm going to export this as a format, switch that to JPEG. We'll just drag the quality all the way to the top, and I'm just going to click on Save. Now this has just saved a JPEG version of this cover to my computer, so I'll open that real quick. Okay, so I've just opened this behind the PDF. So we have the PDF right here, and then we have the JPEG version that we've just created. What we need to do here is we just need to crop this in half. So I'm just going to select that right down the middle, and then I'm just going to go to Tools, and then I'm just going to go to Crop. This is now just our front cover in a JPEG format. That is what the ebook file requires. So now we can just go back over to KDP. We can click on upload your cover file, and we can select that new one that we've just created. Guys, depending on what type of computer you are using, you may not be able to do that as simply as I just did. If you're not able to figure out how to switch that to a JPEG and crop that in half, then you can use something like Canva, which is a free graphic design tool that will allow you to upload your PDF and then split it in half as a JPEG. Okay, so with that being said, we've got our manuscript, we've got our cover. Both of those are uploaded in the format for an ebook now, and the AI generated, again, we'll just click on no there. There's only a couple more differences that you really need to know between these books. So the ISBN, this is now optional for ebooks. So we can just leave that totally blank. Click on save and continue. And these are now the last two things that you need to know for an ebook that's different from a paperback. So the first is KDP Select Enrollment. I recommend turning that on. You're basically just telling Amazon that you are exclusively going to sell your ebook on Amazon, which is already the largest ebook platform out there. And I'll also say here, by turning on KDP Select, Amazon kind of puts an unspoken priority on your ebook. So once that's turned on, leave all territories the same, scroll down here, and now you're going to get into your pricing. This is the last difference between paperback and ebook, something really important to know. If you are going to do a launch phase on your ebook, where you're going to lower the price and try to get as many people to buy that book as possible, then I recommend selecting a 35% margin. If you're going to do what I personally just do and let all the organic ranking power happen without paid ads, then I recommend just going straight to the 70% royalty plan. Now from here, you can set your list price. Again, we could do $7.99. The same thing we talked about before by rounding all of these up to a 99. And guys, once you've done that, you can then publish your Kindle ebook. Now guys, if you have any questions that kind of slip through the cracks in this video, just let me know down in the comments. I try to check them just about every day to try to get back to you guys. And as a reminder, I did put a link to that other tutorial that we were talking about in this video down in the description below. So if you want a full step-by-step tutorial just like this one, but that goes all the way from the beginning of creating the books themselves, I really recommend watching that video. All right guys, I really hope that this video has been helpful. If you enjoyed it, please just give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, I'll plan on seeing you all in the next video.